Lit. Roll up to the party. Roll up to the party. Roll up to the party. Roll up to the lit. Roll up to the party.
Good evening and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View this evening. It's a massive game tonight. We are away to Aberdeen. The players are in the stadium. Celtic are in the stadium. They're all getting ready to come out to the warm-up. And 50 seconds ago, the team news will follow shortly, following around about 15 minutes. Until then, let me just double check this. We are away to Aberdeen. Let me just double check this. We are going to listen to an ex-Celtic player that has a lot of love for Celtic still.
Do you know what? I don't know how this will come across, but I've been pretty much the same goalkeeper the whole time, but it's situations and it's circumstances and things need to fit. I don't think my ability changed much, even when I was perceived to be at a high point or a low point, but especially being playing for England, things like that, the narrative can change really quickly without actually doing too much wrong. So, you know, I had a moment where it didn't necessarily work out for me, but I remained calm. I trained just as hard, if not harder, stayed just as focused, just wasn't get the opportunities. And you know what, Celtic gave me an opportunity. I spoke to Ange, made it very clear what I wanted to give to the game. And look, I was okay with finishing, if I'm honest, because I knew what I could give to the game, but if it didn't need me anymore, then no problem, I'd walk away. But he assured me that there was a space for me just as focused. I knew many things about the club. I learned a whole lot more whilst I was up there, but it's everything that I stand for in terms of love and passion and playing for a reason, playing to win, putting everything on the line. We just gelled nicely. It was at the back end of Celtic dominance and them having a low period during COVID, so they just needed a little bit of a rebuild, and I was more than happy to be a part of that. So it worked well, and something that I'll remember for the rest of my life.
You mentioned at the start that your favourite manager to play under was Ange Postecoglou. Can you speak about that a little bit more? Because you get to Celtic, we as Australians love him, and we knew
what the fuck's going on with that accent, mate?
He could do, but that was a shock when he was announced as the manager of a football club as big as Celtic, coming over from Japan. What was your relationship like with Ange, and did you guys just hit it off straight away, and what makes him unique?
You'd end up wanting to slap him having to talk to him all night, wouldn't you?
Yeah, look, I was at a point at Tottenham. The new manager had come in, I wasn't playing, and he deemed me not even good enough to be on the bench, and I was like, you know what, I don't need this anymore. I've done what I need to do. Football, there's no real space for me. That's no problem, I've had my fun. But then I was offered an opportunity to speak to Ange Postecoglou, who, respectfully, I didn't know who Ange was. I didn't know what he'd been up to in the world of football. But I was like, can we have a conversation, feel each other out? And from the moment I spoke to him, I just loved everything about him. I loved his calmness, loved his understanding, what he wanted to do, what he believed in, the research he'd done on me, the conversations that we had as, you know, we spoke as two fathers, if anything, rather than anything to do with football. I said, look, I've got a young family. I really want my son to see me play, and I want to represent. I feel like a father figure in a dressing room. If you need that, if you need someone who's still got quality and still got desire, but also wants to help, I'm offering myself to you. If you don't, I totally respect that. You know, I'm not the guy for you. He said that's something that he needed. He'd done all the research that he needed to do, and he'd seen enough of me as a goalkeeper that he didn't even need to do any research. So if we can make it work, we would. Very, very honest. Look, he's made it very clear he's not the kind of guy who wants to have a close relationship with his players, and I totally respect that, and he was very consistent with that. But I feel like we had a unique bond in terms of we could both help each other out. And I'm forever grateful for that, and spent some special years playing some crazy football.
Having had that relationship with Ange and now seeing him as a manager of Tottenham, do you think that he can succeed there and deliver them a trophy?
No.
Well, I hope so. Shite. It's a lot easier said than done. I've been at Manchester City when we
Who cares?
It was probably the 2011-12 team. The team.
I don't care. And anyway, that was what I'm talking about Celtic, but when he starts talking about other teams, I don't really care, do we? It is all about Celtic tonight. The Celtic team will be out just in a couple of, it's going to be about 10, 11 minutes. And I'll give you an update on the Just Given page. We are sitting at 60% of our first target, which is £1,000. Which is fantastic, considering it's only been going around about 2.5 days. It'll be 3 days tonight that it's, we're on the 4th now, so it's not even 3 full days. And if we keep going for £200 a day, we'll have raised a fantastic amount of money. So make sure that you share it with your Celtic friends, even going to Facebook pages if you're on Facebook, and if you're on Celtic groups, share it into that. Share it into that, what we're doing here, because I want Boxing Day to be a very, very special day for the Celtic family. There are a lot of people around the country that will be spending Christmas Day alone, and there'll be a lot of people that will be spending Boxing Day alone. So make sure that you get them. And if they don't have a phone that they can get into YouTube, if they don't have the internet, bring them round to your house and we'll sit. And they can sit and listen to me blather a whole load of Celtic for Boxing Day. St. Stephen's will be done for all the right reason. And we'll have a bit of a laugh during the day, and we'll talk about everything Celtic. Big pressure on myself, I put big pressure on myself for this. I really wanted to succeed. There's 22 thumbs up, and there's currently 105 people on, so make sure. Joe McFarlane's going for 2-0 Celtic tonight. It was interesting to hear Joe Hart speaking about his time at Celtic once again. He seems to get asked that all the time. Anyway, a team at the other end of the table. I'm going to get the tables up on the screen, but there is a team at the... Everyone wants to talk about Celtic, don't they? Everyone wants to talk about Celtic. Everyone wants to talk about Celtic. Today was the turn of the Hearts. Why would the Hearts chairman even want to talk about Celtic? The Hearts are absolutely shite. They're at the bottom of the table. Sorry for swearing, but they're shit. And I want Hearts to go down. And it'll be karma if they go down. It's going to be even bigger karma. Hearts that have only won 2 games this season. They've only won 2 games all season. They've lost 9. They've drawn 4. But their chairman today at their EGM, their chairman had a dig at Celtic. It's sad Celtic supporters after the away ticket debacle. Is it a debacle? It's a fucking farce, isn't it? I mean, they give the full stand to Hibernian when Hibernian come calling because they want to keep the integrity of the derby. They want to keep the keep the integrity of the derby like gun. Fucking Edinburgh wanks. Hearts CEO Andrew McNally believes that cutting Celtic's allocation to 630 feels about right. He took aim at the away ongoing ticket fiasco and the limited number of briefs. And who cares? You're going down, mate. The Hearts are going down. And see who's screaming about 650 tickets when you're down in the lower league and unable to fill your stadium. Then you'll know about it then. You'll know right all about it then. So I wish Hearts all the worst for this season, and Hearts are a team that I want to see going down. I don't make no bones about it, and I don't make no apologies. They're all obsessed with the champions, said AR. They are all obsessed with the champions, aren't they? They do anything to try and they'll do anything within the game and in the rules of the game to try and make Celtic not have a good time when they're away from home. Aberdeen were the first to kick it off years ago. Aberdeen were one of the first teams to cut the allocation. If you remember, we used to get the full side of across from the dugout, whilst Aberdeen got the 3 main stands. They then started reducing it section by section until they have it. I have no sympathy. Chilpil, you took the words right out my mouth. I've no sympathy for any SPFL team that decides to reduce the allocation. I'm going to need to move my mic over this side of the table with an extended arm. I've no sympathy for them at all, not one iota. They're happy enough to take the £1 million that's coming their way, that's came their way this season from UEFA. When it comes to the Champions League, every team in Scotland in the SPFL got £1 million handed to them for Celtic's participation in the Champions League this year. When we look at the league, Celtic have got a fantastic chance to extend their point tally to 40 this evening and add a lot more goals. We are on 36 goals. I'll tell you one thing, Aberdeen were close at one point. Celtic were sitting on 24 goals, remember, and Aberdeen won a couple of games, and they got that draw, and I thought, it's going to be interesting, but they have just completely fell away quite. Anyway, we'll play them tonight, and it's going to be an interesting game up in Aberdeen. Let me just check if Celtic haven't put anything out early. No, this still says the team news will be up soon. The pitch is looking good up in Aberdeen. From that picture, it looks like it's from behind the goals, looking over towards the dugout. So that looks, that's looking. No, that's not even looking to where the Celtic fans will be. When the picture was taken, they were watering the pitch at one side. It looks like they were watering the pitch at the Aberdeen end that Celtic will be facing into. That goal will be the goal that Celtic will start off the game. Celtic always start off with the higher stand, don't they? So anyway, just waiting on the Celtic team. We're going to jump into the comments section. Let me see, is there any other I was going to say Hearts news. Who gives a flying frig about the Hearts? Barry Ferguson, advice for struggling midfielder Arnie. I wouldn't take any advice for Barry Passback Ferguson. Why is James Forrest rejected Scott Brown Ayr United contract offer? It was a tongue-in-cheek offer made by Scott Brown, and then Scott Brown went on to tell him putting out headlines like that makes it look as if Celtic he was offered the contract. He wasn't. It was a tongue-in-cheek conversation that the two of them had. There was no written contract on offer on the table from Scott Brown, and then Scott Brown went on to tell him in the same conversation that he's got a lot of life left in at Celtic, and he's got a lot of achievements still to achieve at Celtic. Anyway, we covered that. Watch Kelly lie down to Sevco. That's the big question, but we all know that will happen because the Kelly manager's next up for the job, isn't it? Law, I hate those yoked to the SSM. I'm going to stay at the comments tonight, I think. When we win tonight, it will be 4 in a row. No catching us. Scenarios, I hope so. We'll be going for the 55. Never mind the 4 in a row. And the big deal is will Brendan get offered? I want Brendan to get offered a new contract before the end of the season. I think that Sky's at. If there's one manager that can beat Rangers, it's Derek McInnes. No chance. And the SFA should step in and sort it. Well, the SFA did step in, and there's a minimum amount, and seemingly that minimum amount is the 650. So the SFA haven't helped the matter at all. Who cares? Let them go down. They are sitting bottom of the table, and I want them to go that far. I want them to keep them there. Generally, when you get to the halfway point of the season, we're not there yet, but we're at the end of this month. And I can take that off now because we're not listening to Joe Hart. If we get to the halfway point, which is about January, middle of December, January, and Hearts are still rock bottom, which I suggest that they will be, because I think their main striker's he's given up, isn't he? Here comes Celtic on Sky Sports Centre. They're looking back to the 2-2 game with the deflection. Yes. The deflection that got them back into the game. We forget about it was a deflection that got Aberdeen back into the game that day. And then interviewing Brendan Rodgers on Sky Sports Centre. Right, let me jump into the chat. Jim's going for 3-1 Celtic tonight. We're just waiting on the Celtic team coming out. The Celtic team will be out in 2 minutes' time. 2 minutes' time. It was the one where Rio Hatate scored the goal. I think that was the last time that Rio Hatate really looked really menacing in a game. Was that the 2-2? Oh, come on, app, don't start doing this now. Celtic will increase their lead to the top of the table tonight. Aberdeen with a narrow gap. Who cares about Aberdeen? Right, come on, Celtic, get this team up on the screen. We've got around about 30 seconds till the team jackpot. The half-time jackpot draw, the Paradise Windfall, if you are in the UK, is £3,000 tonight. So if you are able to get that, it's a fantastic amount of money. Play the Paradise Windfall in the Celtic pools tonight. Play it online and you can win £3,000. £3,000. Fantastic amount of cash. I remember, and I think there was 2 people on the Joseph Rafferty Celtic supporters bus won it. I remember one time that Big Ann won it, and it was absolutely brilliant. Her face was unbelievable. And she won 10 grand, and she got her paid for her daughter's wedding and everything, which was fantastic. A big shout out to Big Ann, who won the Paradise Windfall. Dave Hislop's go for 4-1 Celtic. Right, get back over here because the team should be out in around about 20 seconds. Oh, come on, why is it just froze? Celtic must be dead. The team is out. Schmeichel, Johnston, Carter Vickers, Trusty, Alex Baye starts. Trusty starts and Alex Baye starts also. McGregor, Bernardo starts. Hatate, Kuhn, Maida and Kyogo. There's no Arne Engels and there's no Taylor. They're both on the bench. Sinisalo's on the bench. Taylor's on the bench. Scales, Ida, Yang, McCown, Engels, Forrest and Ralston. The time is up for Greg Taylor by the looks of it. I did say if Greg Taylor did not play this game tonight, his days were numbered, and it looks like his days will be numbered at Celtic Park. Give you around about 30 seconds to get the team up onto the screen. Just upload here. It's a surprise. It is a surprise, but it's not, because I did say in the video earlier today, I thought if Greg Taylor does not start the game today, the writing is on the wall for Greg Taylor's Celtic career. It looks like that he will now become understudy to Alex Baye until he leaves Celtic in January. By the looks of it, it's just increased the speculation that he will ultimately leave January now, with the fact that. Oh, wait a minute as well. Engels is on the bench also, which people were saying keep Bernardo, I didn't think they would keep the 2 of them, but he's kept Bernardo in the team. Let me just get this back up onto the screen. Front overlay. And the team will be up on your screen now. There, I need to take the time off so we can see Schmeichel, Johnson, Carter Vickers, Trusty, Alex Baye, McGregor, Bernardo, Hatate, Kuhn, Maida and Kyogo. That's a fantastically strong team for Celtic tonight. That is one of the strongest teams that we could put out. But it's interesting, and I did say this, and we've all said it before. If Taylor, who hasn't been up to his usual standard, and I think he's got one eye looking out the door, thinking about the next club that he could possibly be going to. But he is not playing. He is on the bench tonight. Mate, they're crying all week for Fog Football. This is hilarious. You should do a crossover them for the upcoming derby. Fog Football? That's the Hun one. I'm not going into Fog Football. That's Huns. I'm never doing anything. We're part of nothing together. There is no Old Firm, right? There's no nothing together. And we don't do anything with nothing, with nobody. We're not doing anything with no Hun channel. Put it that way. Hatate needs to play well tonight because he's got McCowan breathing down his neck, says Mr. Chilpill. That is true. Bernardo's a very good player, deserves the start. Looks like the boys are out to score goals tonight. Yes, it does, ultimately. Looks like Celtic are out to score a barrel load. Paulo Bernardo he's been sitting quietly on the bench, saying to the manager, not even saying to the manager, just sitting there going, what do I need to do to get into this team? Because when you look at it, I'm a better player. I'm better than Engels, he'll be saying. And he's kind of been proving it when he comes on. He is a better player than Arne Engels. You can't. We all know the price tag that Arne Engels has got on him. Maybe that drop on the bench for a game or two will do him the world of good. Taylor, he's there now to make up the numbers, the same as Ralston. It'll be interesting to see what happens with him over the next couple of weeks. Scales either dropping back to the bench also. I thought that Scales might drop back to the bench purely for the fact that if we need pace, like we did in the semi-final, when you needed pace against Aberdeen, because they've got some speed, there's some pace in that team, and the manager would revert back to Trusty. But I did think if he went with Trusty, there's every chance he would go with Taylor. He didn't. Alex Baye makes the start. That he'll be absolutely buzzing for this game. And will this be the game once again? And we spoke about it for quite a while on this channel during during the course of the season that have said it would be a midweek game up in Aberdeen at this time of the year, which is just fucking... Yep, we've spoken about it loads of times. Wait a minute till I drink my green tea. Yeah, the missus has got my green tea. It's interesting. I've never drank green tea before. I'm just like a normal council coffee tea man. But I was reading some things. But anyway, I digress. It's good for you, allegedly. Folk football is great for laughing at them. Yeah, that's about it. Hail, hail, the boys. Yeah, that's about it. They're good for... I'm sure folk football, it's a Hearts fan and a Rangers fan that's on it, isn't it? That's Stevie, Rangers channel, and a Hearts fan, or maybe it's the same person, just putting on a different voice. No idea. Would you take Aberdeen left back? Would I take the Aberdeen left back? Nah, because Dyson Maida put him through the ringer, didn't he? Brendan will use 5 of the bench tonight, so it's going to be like having a first 16. I don't think he'll use 5 tonight. Green tea is good for you. Yeah, I know it is, Grant, and that's why she's got me drinking it. And plus, I'm trying to shred for before January. I'm on the green tea too. So everyone's on green tea. That's the too cold for Kyogo. Let's start with a high tempo. It's not too cold for Kyogo. Gets the antioxidants into your eyes. It does that. Makes you piss like a racehorse. Jesus Christ, what have I started? Baz is on the meth. I wish. It's only cold if you don't run and stand still. The buns we could do with some detoxification. Yeah, they could that. Nabaz puke. It's only good for is the colour. Aberdeen have second choice keeper and goal. Let's get the shots on target early on, put them under some pressure. It's just comical. Their frustrations. Yeah, I know that's about it. Grant Sloan says, hail, hail, Baz. I'm not on the green tea. Says, Stuart Ramsey, you'll be on something a way better, stronger. Yeah, but Dyson would murder Taylor. Yeah, Dyson would murder Taylor. Celtic Mad, Baz, that's your prediction team, or is it the actual team lineup? That's the actual team lineup. Where do you think that comes from? That's the actual team lineup. That is the team lineup. That is the actual team lineup from Celtic. I don't make stuff up on this channel. People think I make stuff up. I don't. That's the team. That's it. I'm sure it'll be on the Celtic website by now. And if I go to CelticFC.com or now, because I want to keep up the Just Given page. I want to keep up the Just... there's a starting 11 up, or... Sinisalo, yeah, I don't need to do it. I was going to put it up on the ticker along the bottom, but I was going to put the subs up on there, but I want to keep that up as long as possible. I'm going to try and keep that up all the time, just so. Yes, we'll have a little chat about that just whilst we are on. If you don't know, but if you might be hiding under a rock, or you haven't been watching the channel for the last 2 or 3 days, on Boxing Day, I am doing a fundraiser for the Celtic Foundation. The Celtic Foundation is the charity arm of Celtic, and they recently, just a couple of days ago, well, last Wednesday, or Friday was it? It was Wednesday, wasn't it? They donated £10,000 to the Children's Hospital in Glasgow. And on that day, we will be doing a Boxing Day live for the Celtic Foundation. For every £1,000 that is collected, will equate to 1 hour of me being on YouTube. Currently, we are sitting at £602. So we're not far away. We're only a couple of days in, about 2.5 days into the start of raising awareness for the charity fundraiser for the Celtic Foundation. We've got a long way to go to get to the 26th of December. Every pound helps the Celtic Foundation, and every £1,000 that we raise will mean that I have to stay on YouTube for 1 hour. So if we raise £2,000, that's fine. I'll come on 2 hours before the game, and then I can disappear during the game. Or I come on 5 minutes before the game and we stay on during the game and afterwards. But no, on all serious note, hopefully we'll be able to raise as much money as possible, and there will be collecting money on the day also. This will be live until that day. And then I don't know how you give the money to the Celtic Foundation after that, so I'm no idea how that works. But anyway, hopefully they will get the money. It must go right into their account. The fact that it's all registered through the Celtic Foundation and justgiving.com. And if you go into the link, and I'm sure someone will have put the link. Yes, Kaiser's just put the link into the comments section on the live. And once the video is finished, once the live is finished, we'll put the link in the comments section of that also. So let's talk about the team. It's Michael Johnson, Carter Vickers, Trusty, Alex Baye. That's a strong back line that we've got, and it's as strong as you could get. Alex Baye proved that he's way better than Greg Taylor. A lot of people said he's way better than Greg Taylor when he came on at the weekend. McGregor in midfield with Hatate. Hatate really needs to have a fantastic game tonight. Hatate really needs to have a good game tonight, because if he doesn't, there's a player on the bench in Luke McCowan who's absolutely jumping at the bit to get on and play beside McGregor and Bernardo. Or will it be, and I think if Hatate comes off, it will be Luke McCowan that goes on. I don't think that he would put on Arnie Engels. When you look at the bench, it's probably the strongest bench. I mean, it's as strong as bench as you're ever going to get. Sinisalo, Taylor. The only person that has got a question mark over his immediate Celtic future is obviously Greg Taylor. Scales, Ida, Yang. Yang is okay. He's doing better than obviously. And there's another game without Lewis Palmer. So as it gets closer, it looks like the writing is on the wall for Lewis Palmer also. So that means Celtic could be selling at least 3 or 4 players in the next transfer window. I think the players that will be sold will be Greg Taylor and Alexandro Bernabe, Lewis Palmer, and it looks like Daniel Cummins may be the 4th player that will be released or sold by Celtic in the January transfer window. Daniel Cummins does have that option that he could sign for another club if he hasn't signed the contract by then. The fact that we're only a couple of weeks away to the end of the year, I don't think that Celtic are going to be handing out contracts. I think that if they were going to do it, they would have announced it roughly about the same time as James Forrest and Alistair Johnston. I mean, all the contract talks would be taking place around about the same time, and it is what it is. It is what it is. We've got a lot of football to go before them, though. So let's jump into the comments section, and whiskey makes me frisky. Well, there you go. Good for that. I got my boy Jay and Mimsy for the game. Says Big Des, Black Squared Sausage Squared says, I can't find it in here, lads, but my dad told me many stories about Buckfast. Christopher coming in, he's going for 4-1 Celtic. Maida and Kuhn to score. That's an interesting scoreline. I don't think that Celtic are going to give away goals tonight. I just think that we're solid enough at the back, and I don't think Aberdeen are good enough. I mean, I think the hitters, you've got to remember, for the 2-2 game, one was a deflection and then the other one was a cracking shot. You mean, you're not going to deny that, but I think that Celtic are that switched on now. I can't see anybody scoring against us anytime soon. It's going to have to be a massive mistake. I think we've took the... Let's be honest here. The players that are generally make a mistake in the game, apart from Cameron Carter-Vickers, there's no disputing that was the mistake of the century. Cameron Carter-Vickers made for Celtic against a good team. But when you look at the mistakes, they generally come down the left-hand side. It's usually Taylor being out of position or giving the ball away or not being fast enough. And then there is Liam Scales, who has sometimes given the ball away, and that's allowed an opposing player to try and get further up the pitch. So I think that the manager will have noticed that, and he will want his strongest partnership together. And he sees his strongest partnership in a game like this as Trusty and big Cameron Carter-Vickers. All we need to do now is find a permanent solution for the left back area. The fact that we've got Alistair Johnston on a long-term contract now, which is absolutely fantastic for Celtic. So it means that if anyone does come in for Alistair Johnston, they're going to have to spend 25 to 30 million to get him out his contract from Celtic. So It all depends on who we can get in as a long-term replacement for Greg Taylor. Because let's face it, I don't think that we will be able to buy Alex Bailly. But you never know. We never know what might happen in the summer. Something strange might happen in the summer, and Barcelona might say, "Look, he's not maybe Barca standard. He's not maybe Barca standard in what they're looking for." But it's a funny old game of football. Right, Hail, the boys is going for 2-0. Paul Baird is going for 3-0. I am going for... Same as I went for the past couple of nights. Aberdeen 0, Celtic 3. I think that will be the scoreline tonight. Taylor makes too many mistakes. I like Scales, but he needs to prove and stop making those mistakes, says James Duffin. Yep, that's exactly my thinking behind it. Richard says... sad that beating Aberdeen helps Rangers, assuming that they win. It doesn't matter. Aberdeen have been their own. They've caused their own problems. You know, they've dropped points over the last 3 games. So Celtic, it was always going to be the game where we thought we would maybe go 5 points in front of them. The fact that we're going to be a bit more than 5 in front is a good thing for us, but. Do you know, I'm sure that Aberdeen will make... They've got money to invest, remember. They only spent something like 1 or 2 million in the last transfer window, and they sold a player for 6 million odd. So they do have money to spend, unlike the team across the city, who the manager's now got the begging bowl out saying we need players. So anyway, AR's going for 2-0 Celtic. Stephen Kelly's going for 3-1 Celtic. Square Sausage Black is going for 3-0. 2, why not? I think it's going to be 3-0. Big Des has got a bottle of Buckfast. Goes straight to your head, and the bottle goes over somebody. No, it doesn't. I tell you. These are all drinking Buckfast completely wrong. That's why I suggested Grant. Paul is going for 4-2 Celtic. Keep Taylor, but buy a left back for another record fee. But I don't think we're going to keep Taylor. He's never agreed a contract. It's getting closer to him. He's going to go the same way as David Turnbull. There's no doubt in my mind that Greg Taylor will be sold in January. If he's not so by the 1st of January, if he's not signed that new contract, he will go the same way as David Turnbull. Celtic will want to recoup the money that they paid for him to Kilmarnock. And I can't remember what we paid Kilmarnock for him. But, I mean, Celtic will be able to get 3 million for Greg Taylor. They got 3 million for Turnbull last winter, last January. We got 3 million for Turnbull. So there's no reason why we can't get 3 million for Taylor. So I think that Taylor will be off. Whether you like it or not, you know, it is what it is. It's football. We move on. We're not bemoaning the fact that we lost players of Jota's calibre. You know, we brought in Kuhn, who's just been just as good, if not better. We're not moaning about the fact, no one talks about the fact that Matt O'Reilly isn't in the middle of that pitch. You know, we move on as a club. We now have the next generation of players. Celtic have always had that in their capacity to go out into the transfer market. And Ange Postecoglou says, don't get too attached to your stars. Somebody should have told Ange, look, we've had a lot of stars at Celtic over the years, and we don't forget about them, but we don't get that attached to them because there's always the next star to come along. Paul Baird says, I never drink Buckfast, not a chance. I never drink it, says the man that's drinking green tea. Celtic go home remains out. Odom Ohm, what happened to Odom Ohm? There's another player that was brought in last summer. Odom Ohm, he's disappeared off the ether. I mean, where is he? He's surely a player that we could sell as well in the next transfer window. There's another player, so that'd be 5 players. What if Celtic was to sell 5 players in this transfer window coming up? Just to clear the decks. Just clear the decks altogether. If I win the lottery, I'll buy Taylor out his contract. Dave Hislop, you won't have to. My dad said if I swap someone's drink for a cheaper version of whiskey, he'd Buckfast them. Taylor 7 million. Lol, not a chance. And that's what he's worth when he's got a year or so his contract. And that's what Celtic roughly about what Celtic valued him at. The fact that 7 million, you're not going to get 7 million for him with just 6 months to go. You'll get 3 million. It'll be the same as David Turnbull. We'll sell him for 3 million, and that will be him. He'll be gone. Sell him. He's never going to make it at Celtic. He's never going to make it. He's never going to make it, Chilpel. I think that could be potentially 5 players that Celtic. It's going to be an interesting transfer window, because if we offload 5 players in the next transfer window, Brendan Rodgers is going to get some decent money to bring in players. I mean, you think about it, we've still got Gustav Lagerbielke out on loan. You know, he's out on loan. We didn't sell Gustav Lagerbielke. We loaned him out for the year with a view to bring him back. And then you've got the big defender, Big Norowski, Big Rocky. Nobody talks about him anymore. He doesn't even make the bench. You know, where is he? You know, he's not even making the bench. So there's players that are nowhere near the squad. I mean, you've got 4 million worth of defender. Nobody talks about him now. Nobody talks about the 4 million defender. Yeah, it was 4 million we paid for him. 4 million paid for him and 3.25 or something for Lagerbielke. So, do you know, there's a lot of money's worth of assets sitting at Celtic doing nothing, and Celtic they'll want to move them on. They'll want to move them on and get in the next generation of players. I am sure of that. Rocky was on the bench the other day. Yeah, but he's not on the bench tonight. Lagerbielke can't get a name on loan. 5 appearances. Big chocolate Rocky is a dud. Oma's a dud. Get rid of him. You can't say he's a dud, but he's not. It was a disastrous time, that transfer window. I'm just checking an update. We're still on £607 for the. There's the. I'm not going to buy this game, I think. EA Sports Team of the Week. The EA Sports Team of the Week, and Luke McCowan. Luke McCowan has been named in the EA Sports Team of the Week on Twitter. Jesus. So I'll put the link into it. They let their play do the talking. The Team of the Week 12 has arrived. The FC 25 Ultimate Team. And in there, that's brilliant. That is absolute. Luke McCowan makes the EA Sports FC 25. I'll put the link so you can go and check it out. I'm fair chuffed for that. Fair chuffed. It's not going to go in because it's far too long. I just, there we go, that's narrowed it right down. Get the photo, copy that, and then put that into the, so there you go, there's the photo of Luke in the Team of the Week. All the numpties on here slagging off Greg Taylor, a footballer who's won loads of medals with Celtic Dafties. My ball, he's not signed, nobody's slagging him, well, people might be slagging him off, but he's not signing a new contract with Celtic. So the fact that he's gone, he's on his way out the door, there's no denying that. He will go the exact same way as as players before him. There's no way as Celtic going to allow Greg Taylor to walk away from Celtic for absolutely nothing. Not a chance. Not a chance. Not a chance. But his time's up at Celtic. He's not going to sign a contract. The same happened last year. Turnbull wasn't going to sign a contract. You sell the player. You sell their assets. That's the way that Celtic work. If people don't think that he's good enough, well, a lot of people didn't think that Kuhn wasn't good enough. So, do you know, it is what it is. Alex Baye is a player to keep. Well, we'll see what can happen with that. Taylor served his time to go. Yep. And Taylor will be thinking about that as well. Taylor's missus is pregnant, and he'll be wanting a big payday. Right? Taylor's like, right, I've got a kid coming along now. He's getting to the other end of his football career. He's not a young laddie anymore. He'll want to go down south and have 3 or 4 years down south earning 30, 40 grand a week. And then that'll see him okay into his retirement. And then he'll invest that money wisely, hopefully. But as it comes as a Celtic player, you've got a time scale on your Celtic career. I think Rio Hatate is coming to the end of his time scale. I'll be honest about that. I think Rio Hatate will be the one that's sold in the summer. I think he's nearing the end of the longevity of a Celtic player. But anyway, Bernabe, he's going to be sold. Yeah, that's one of the ones, Gary, that I mentioned at the beginning of the video, who would be sold. If he doesn't want to be at Celtic, he can clear off, says Paul Baird. We're just over 1,000 people have watched the live this evening. It is now. How come my Sky app's all mucked up? How come I am not getting Sky Sports? It's giving me UK, Sky Sports, TNT, Sky Sports Mixed. I'm just trying to get. Nope. I'll sort it out when I come off here. Feel like press have stirred it up also. Maybe don't hate Greg Taylor, but it's because he wants away. Listen, he's only wanting away because he's wanting more money at the end of the day. And that's it. He's never signed the contract. He's not signed the contract. It's been there. It's been put on the table to him. And he's never signed the contract. So, as far as it is going to be, Baz, because you're drinking green tea. Yeah, it's because I'm drinking green tea. Who's man for man? What's Aberdeen's 11? Don't care. I don't care what Aberdeen's 11 is. Just worrying about Celtic. I think that if Celtic go out and play their game tonight, I know that their goalkeeper, it's the changed goalkeeper. My ball says, I hear you, David, but there's not too many slagging him off. He's only doing what most footballers do, looking out for the bigger paycheck. Yeah, he does that. There's no denying Greg Taylor's been great for us. There's no denying whatsoever. But there's a pay structure at Celtic, and he obviously thinks that it's another case. Look, Daniel Cummins is in the same boat. Daniel Cummins is coming through the Celtic B team, and he thinks he's got his agent's got a delusion of grandeur, thinking that he should be getting more money. I don't believe for 1 minute that there's not been conversations between Daniel Cummins' agent and Celtic. For the media and the Celtic media out there to be coming out with stories that Celtic have not offered Daniel Cummins a contract, there will have been conversations, and the conversations would go, hi, how you doing? Mr. Teasdale, yep, I'm Daniel Cummins' agent, we're wanting 10 grand a week. And Paul Tisdale would sit there and go, cheerio. That was it. Simple as that. Anyway. Damn, that was good. Anyway, time to move on from him. At 7:30, the main event is about to get started. Celtic Mad, it was starting at 7:15, I think, but I can't find it on the telly. Wait and see if it comes on. If Cummins leaves, he will fade away just like the others. Chilpel, yep. Danny Cassie says, I think it'll be, I'm getting my gear for the game, Baz. You're just getting your gear for that. I'm sure we all need us to know that. Anyway, that's me done and dusted with 1,100 people on the live. I've not even done a poll for the game tonight. 3-0 the Hoop, says Stuart Ramsey. I'm going for 3-1. Baz sitting typing on my phone when you're on the big telly. I know. Well, there you go. There you go. Happened to Miller back in the day. Sat in the Man United bench a couple of times and then disappeared and got paid a lot. Yep. Good evening from the Hoops Bar. Kate, you're allowed back into the Hoops Bar. You're not banned. I hope I've got that out loud. You're not banned from the Hoops Bar. A bit of a farce, isn't it? Anyway, who cares about the Hoops Bar? It is all about Celtic Aberdeen this evening. That's me done and dusted. I will be back on straight after the live tonight for around about 25 to 30 minutes. Stephen Kelly says, cheers, Baz. Take it easy. 2-0. Vata has set the championship alight, hasn't he? Nope. Nope, not at all. And Stephen Kelly says, thanks, mate. And Chilpel says, I thought the main event started at the same time. I have no idea. Anyway, on that note, make sure that you jump on to the Boxing Day live event for the Celtic fundraiser for the Celtic Foundation. We'll, for every £1,000 that is donated, I will be staying on YouTube for 1 hour. We're sitting around 60% of the first hour's worth of money collected. We're sitting at £607, which is a fantastic amount of money to have collected in just 3 days. on YouTube. Make sure that you pass it about to everyone that you know, and hopefully the donations will come flowing in on Boxing Day. Hopefully we can get it up to around about 2,000 before Boxing Day, so that we've got a couple of hours to play with, and then the donations come in rolling in on the day. And I've just pressed the wrong screen. Anyway, on that note, have an absolutely fantastic evening. Come on, you boys in green. Glasgow's green and white.
Lit. Roll up to the